So in the past 2 episodes, we have talked about the past and present of the electric unicycle. And I think it would only make sense for us to make some idle speculation about what is to come. In case if this look wholly unfamiliar to you, it is because there have been a slight change of vehicle and venue, I would say, I guess. Since this week I'm in Taipei, Taiwan, and this is not my Z10. This is actually a Z6 on loan. In this episode, we'll travel to the island of Taiwan, where the only thing they love more than Midnight Stack are electronics and scooters, where we visit an actual electric unicycle store and ride the little cousin to my Z10, the Ninebot Z6. Finally, unfortunately, the bad news about the Ninebot Z10. I hope you're sitting down for this. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. So this is my yearly trip to Taiwan and Southeast Asia. Most of Kelly's family is in Taiwan, and we go back during the Chinese New Year and also use the opportunity to visit some of the other countries in the region. And what better opportunity to talk about the future of the Ninebot Z10 than a 20-hour trip on the old school flights around the world? First of all, it is no fun to speculate about impossible things, so why don't we set down some ground rules? Alright, rule number 1, current technology mostly, please. I mean, we all pray that there's some sort of battery chemistry breakthrough that would get us twice the capacity at half the size and weight of what we got currently. But to peg the hope of your product on some possible breakthrough, you know, who knows what would happen. And plus, at the most, it's an upgrade on specification, and it doesn't change the nature of what the electric unicycle can and would do. So rule number 2, actually not so much of a rule, but more a focus on product design. There is an entire social and cultural aspect towards marketing that could make or break a product, as I have mentioned in previous video. But I personally like to talk about design more. By the way, I always take the air train to JFK Airport. There is something magical about the progression of transition from a subway train, which I take every day, to a monorail, then to the airport, and finally the plane itself. So first of all, what is wrong with this picture? That's right, I'm walking. I'm actually capable of doing that. I do not have a wheel permanently welded to my feet. I would actually much rather ride my I-5 through these inevitably very long airport transfer. However, in this case, I really didn't have a choice. The transfer is a bit confusing and unnecessarily complicated, but AirTrain itself is fast, efficient, and certainly beats traffic on the Van Wyck, the primary artery to JFK Airport. So, airport security. Buckets of fun. So currently there are no way for me to take any of my electric unicycle with me on a flight. The FAA put a strict limitation on the size of a battery you can carry at 100 watt-hour, and even the smallest electric unicycle far exceed that limitation. So the first item on my wish list would be an electric unicycle that accommodate easily removable battery and would actually take battery of different size. So you have the option of going with a smaller battery while you're flying that is FAA compliant, and then hopefully when you get to your destination, you can actually rent and swap in a larger capacity battery that allow you to explore wherever it is you're going with much greater level of mobility. Oh, and some zipping about would certainly have been nice before they seal you into a cabin where you be confined to a cramped seat for hours on end. Can you tell that I really don't enjoy long-haul flights? So ideally, after a long, tiring flight, 17 hours in my case. You're able to just get off the plane, take out your electric unicycle, rent or pick up a larger capacity battery and simply plug it in. And there goes your long range mobility in a fun new city. By the way, it's 6 a.m. in the morning. That's why there's nobody here in the airport. And that is 5 p.m. New York time, exactly 13 hours ahead. From Taoyuan Airport, which is the main international airport in Taiwan, there is an MRT line that takes you directly downtown, which is actually brand new. They just opened it a year ago. And unlike New York, it actually takes you right down to the heart of Taipei City. The air train system in New York, by comparison, is a lot shorter and does not connect with downtown. And part of the reason is that when they were planning it, the taxi commission actually had opposed that direct connection because, as they suspect correctly, that it would have eaten into their business. So as I mentioned in the last video, that the cost for upgrading an existing transit system is exponentially more expensive than if you were to build from the scratch. And part of the reason is just that, is not just the cost of building and upgrading the infrastructure physically, you also have to deal with, sort of the bureaucracy, union and what have you, all that an established system would have. So we pay more for something that doesn't work quite as well. But we're not quite done yet. From the Taipei train station, it is another 2 hours via local train and an hour via bus on a winding cliffside road that always seems to be going just a bit faster than I'm comfortable with to get to the small town of Zhoufeng where Kelly is from. Which is on the east coast of Taiwan, where the mountain slopes all the way down to meet the ocean. The view is actually spectacular. Unfortunately, you sort of have to take my word for it today. So I have noticed that, people still utilize their 125cc gas scooter all the time. In some way, as long as they have enough torque to navigate these steep slopes, they actually work very well because of how small the streets are. So the question is, can any of the new electric unicycles navigate, in areas like this? I mean, this is sort of the torture test, right? So if they can, and if they can handle the wet, slippery ground, then maybe they could be the one. However, I kind of doubt it. If I were to come down this particular path on my Z10, I think I'd be scared witless. Maybe we need even bigger tires. This area is really beautiful. If you ever come for a visit in Taiwan, you have to come here. But enough of this walking business, I have got to get rolling somehow. Let me have at them scooters. So as you can see, scootering is sort of a thing here in Taiwan. Since it is a small island, the distances tend to be a little bit shorter and the weather mild. And also, despite the way it looks, people here don't drive as fast as they do in the US. Whereas the speed limit here in Taipei is actually 40 kilometers per hour, which translates to about 25 miles an hour, as opposed to the 35 in New York City that people mostly ignore. The electric revolution is also in fact taking place here in Taiwan as well, starting with this, the Gogoro. So it looks like any of the other regular gas scooter, but it is in fact electric. Not only that, it comes with a removable modular battery and a battery subscription service. So this is my wish list number 2. Imagine how sweet it would be if we can just take the same cell that worked for the scooter and plug it directly into our electric unicycle, so that you have one subscription for a modular battery pack that works across different platforms. In addition, this beautifully designed 60 miles per hour electric scooter at $2,000 is actually cheaper than a Gotway Monster. Unfortunately, all my attempt at sweet talking the salespeople failed and I never got to ride one. But fortunately, Taiwan also have an electric scooter share service called Wemo. Except that the scooter that they rent out is quite a bit more robust, as you can tell, than the ones that typically rent out by Line or Bird. This is certainly no kick scooters. And I'm not really sure what is the size of the motor or batteries. However, I have been managed to be able to get it up to about 65 kilometers per hour. And I think that's like maybe 40 miles per hour, somewhere around there. So it is the about the same power and speed rating as a 50cc scooter, which is plenty in this city. By the way, I don't think the Taiwanese people can survive without their scooter. At one point, Taiwan had the highest number of scooter per capita in the world. I'm sorry, did I get completely sidetracked once again? Electric unicycle, yeah, that's what we're here to talk about. So the other cool thing with visiting Taiwan is that there's actually a retail store that sells personal electric vehicles, including electric unicycle, which is the Ryder. They have multiple locations in Taiwan, and on top of regularly hosting gatherings for enthusiasts, they also offer electric unicycle classes. Imagine that! They offer Ninebot and in-motion wheels, but do not offer Kingston or Gotway since the government-mandated speed limit render high-performance wheel pointless. And did I mention that they also rent? Unfortunately, it is illegal to ride a personal electric vehicle in the street here in Taiwan. However, fortunately, Ryder is right across the street from a huge park, and that's where we're going to go and try out the Z6. It's been a few days since I've ridden an electric unicycle, and it feels like someone taken away my legs, I swear. So it's most unfortunate that you can't use an electric unicycle in the street, since I really can't think of a better way to explore the city on one. I mean, you can ride a gas scooter and it will get you around just as fast, if not faster. However, with a gas scooter, whenever you see something fun, you still have to stop and, you know, find a place to park and so on. And you can't really access pedestrian area like this. By the way, this is the Z10 I'm riding, which is, I guess, the little brother of the Z10. Smaller motor, smaller battery, and so on. I've been told that the Z6 had not been a terribly popular wheel here in Taiwan, and I can see why. Without the benefit of the greater power and speed of the Z10, the deficit of greater weight, a wider and more unwieldy tire, and a larger form factor made the Z6 a much less attractive package. Compared with the other wheels such as the Motion V10, which essentially perform just as well given the stringent restriction on speed and where you can ride, which is equally unfortunate since I have come to really enjoy pushing my Z10. But in all honesty, the Z6 felt just fine, and I was really more bothered by being stripped of my freedom to ride whenever and anywhere I like. And this was the boogeyman inside of all of our collective closet. So I try hard to avoid talking about the regulatory aspect of personal electric vehicle. It is a pretty damn dry subject. However, it's also ones that can potentially affect all of us. Although we are lucky in New York City being able to operate in sort of a gray area, it is also possible that, you know, if there were to be a bad accident, that the sentiment would turn against us and regulation put in place similar to the ones here in Taiwan, where their use is limited to private properties or parks like this. And that would be a most unfortunate turn. So I guess what I'm saying is that given how small the community is, we all have to kind of do our part to spread the word and be good ambassadors.
And finally, the bad news. Ryder had been a dealer for Ninebot for years and also attended the vendor event for the last 4. So they were quite familiar and close to their sources. And when I asked them if they were aware of the seemingly lack of interest Ninebot has shown in selling the 1Z overseas, they confirmed that they were aware. And not only that, they dropped a bombshell. I mean, this had technically been right in front of us this whole time. There's a reason why Ninebot has skipped right to the last letter of the alphabet, as the 1Z is meant to be the last wheel that they will develop and sell in the foreseeable future, I guess. And this is why they have shown so little interest in distributing and supporting the wheel overseas, as it is literally meant to be a farewell to its very core audiences, I guess, in China. Hey Gotway, you're looking mighty fine today. What are you doing Tuesday night? Maybe we, grab a dinner and a movie after, and, hang out and get to know each other better. So you call me, please?
And once again, I totally got sidetracked and ran way over my time slot. And if you have followed along on my little adventure till the very end, thank you. And as always, please like the video and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed it, and let me know what you think in the comment section below. What do you think is in the future for electric unicycle? And finally, we went past 1,000 subscribers. I can't tell you how absolutely unbelievable this is. I really appreciate the support and promise to make more and better videos in the future. Thank you.